When Tang San's blue-silver grass second skill ensnared Dai Mubai, he finally unleashed the power of his third spirit ring. At that moment, Dai Mubai's appearance changed again in front of Tang San and Xiao Wu. His already muscular body, enhanced by the white tiger spirit possession, swelled even further. His muscles bulged grotesquely, tearing his upper clothes to shreds, revealing terrifying muscle contours. The most peculiar part was the black stripes that appeared on his skin, making him resemble a tiger's pelt, minus the fur. His tiger claws grew larger, the blades extended and turned silvery. Most strikingly, his entire body was enveloped in a layer of intense golden light, making him appear as though he were gilded. Blood-red eyes glowed with a bloodthirsty gleam, and his entire presence radiated the kingly aura of a beast. Although Tang San didn't know what this transformation signified, he was aware that the third spirit ring, a millennium spirit ring, would undoubtedly have an extraordinary effect. Sensing the danger, Xiao Wu immediately released her spirit rings, revealing 2 yellow rings just like Tang San. Her cute white ears perked up, and her already pretty appearance seemed to soften even more. Her beast spirit possession, unlike Dai Mubai's which made him more domineering, gave her more graceful lines and elongated legs, aligning with the characteristics of a rabbit. Not even Tang San knew what spirit beast Xiao Wu's spirit rings came from. During the vacation after their 3rd year, Tang San obtained his 2nd spirit ring with the help of Grandmaster and the headmaster of Notting Academy. Xiao Wu had returned home during that time, and when she came back, she already had her 2nd spirit ring, another 100-year ring. Blue-black blue-silver grass shot out from around Tang San. Spirit abilities didn't need to be released only from the palms. The thorny vines quickly shot out, blocking Dai Mubai's view and aiming to entangle his limbs and neck. With Tang San's soul power, or rather his mysterious heaven skill, pushed to the limit, the binding skill of his 1st spirit ring was executed to perfection. As he launched his attack, Tang San grabbed Xiao Wu, preventing her from rushing forward and shook his head at her. The battle between men should not be interfered with by others, or it would invite contempt from the opponent. Tang San, with a mental age far beyond his 12 years, deeply understood this. Moreover, he sensed a cold, domineering aura from Dai Mubai but no actual hostility. Just as Tang San held Xiao Wu back, his pupils contracted, and he let out a muffled grunt. 10 beams of silver light intersected in the air, halting the rapidly advancing blue-silver grass mid-air. Subsequently, the resilient vines turned to powder and dissipated, as Dai Mubai's robust figure stepped toward Tang San. The silver blades on his tiger claws gleamed, releasing an overwhelming pressure. Your blue-silver grass is impressive, much tougher than I expected. Even with my usual soul power, I couldn't cut through them in one strike. But now, I'm using my 3rd spirit ring skill, White Tiger Vajra transformation. To acquire this ring, I went through countless hardships and finally hunted a Millennium Vajra tiger spirit beast. It not only significantly boosts my strength, attack, and defense, but also grants me the White Tiger Vajra transformation skill. Dai Mubai stopped 10 meters away from Tang San and Xiao Wu, refraining from further attacks. My White Tiger Vajra transformation lasts for half an hour. During this time, my resistance to abnormal conditions, attack power, defense, and strength all double. With my level 37 soul power, your toxins aren't enough to harm me. No matter how refined your control-type spirit skills are, you're still not my match. This is the absolute difference in power. The red glow in Dai Mubai's evil eyes flickered as his bulging muscles gradually receded. The redness in his eyes faded, and all effects of the white tiger spirit possession quietly withdrew. At this moment, Dai Mubai looked somewhat comical. His clothes were in tatters, his upper clothes completely torn apart, and his pants severely damaged. The thorny blue-silver grass had left his clothes in shreds. Returning to normal, Dai Mubai gave Tang San and Xiao Wu a deep look. I think we'll meet again soon. If anyone troubles you at Shrek Academy, just mention my name, Dai Mubai, the evil-eyed white tiger. With that, he waved to the twin beauties and walked out of the hotel first. Unable to resist, Xiao Wu called out to his back, how did you know we're going to Shrek Academy? Dai Mubai stopped and replied coldly, you're only around 12, right? At this age, with over level 20 soul power, what else would you be doing at this time if not heading to Shrek Academy? 12 years old, haha, 12. I'm already 15. Tang-san, I'll be waiting for you at Shrek Academy. With those final words, Dai Mubai walked out of the hotel. Watching his departing figure, Xiao Wu huffed indignantly, what an arrogant guy. He doesn't seem like a good person at all. Xiao-san, even if we go to Shrek Academy, let's avoid him. Tang-san smiled slightly as he watched Dai Mubai leaving, why? I think this person is quite good. Although he appears cold, he's very straightforward. Xiao Wu retorted, good? I think he's as wrong as can be. Bringing two girls to a hotel room in broad daylight, what good could he be doing? Evil eyes, white tiger? More like lustful tiger, if you ask me. Tang-san frowned, Xiao Wu, I see you're becoming more knowledgeable. Xiao Wu didn't notice the slight displeasure in Tang-san's eyes and proudly said, of course, don't forget, I'm the leader of the students at Nodding Academy. Tang-san shook his head helplessly and said, I won't comment on Dai Mubai's personal preferences. But from our battle just now, he seems quite capable in many aspects. Although he is stronger than us, he didn't use his strength to bully us. He even gave up the room for us and seemed to suggest he'd look out for us at the academy. Xiao Wu asked puzzled, right, he kept saying we're 12, he's 15, and he said he had already lost. What did he mean by that? Tang-san replied, before using his martial spirit, he said he had already lost because I won in terms of skill, and because of our age difference. After we both used our martial spirits, he repeated the same thing, emphasizing the age gap. If I'm not mistaken, when he was 12, his strength was not as good as ours now, so he said he had already lost. Teacher once said that for a highly talented soul master, every year before the age of 20 is crucial. A 1-year difference can lead to a significant gap in cultivation. We have a 3-year age difference, but our strength gap isn't as big as our age gap, so he considers himself as having lost. This also shows his competitiveness. Xiao Wu retracted her martial spirit transformation and suddenly asked in a low voice, brother, if he had really defeated you just now, would we really have to roll out of here? She hadn't forgotten Dai Mubai's arrogant words earlier. Tang-san said calmly, even if we had to roll out, it would only be me. That's also why I didn't let you intervene. He's right, with a 1-ring difference, the gap in strength is huge. Whether it's soul power, the attributes given by soul rings, or his 1,000-year soul ring skill, all surpass us. After using White Tiger Vajra transformation, even if we teamed up, we might not be his match. Do you think I would really let you roll out? If he insisted on doing so, I would have fought to the death. Although my strength is inferior to his, if it came to a desperate fight, I have a 70% chance of taking him down with me. After saying this, Tang-san walked towards the counter. Fortunately, his battle with Dai Mubai hadn't lasted long, and Dai Mubai hadn't attacked with full force after using White Tiger Vajra transformation. Otherwise, the Rose Hotel wouldn't have ended up with just a few damaged decorations in the lobby. Xiao Wu watched Tang-san walk towards the counter, lowered her head, and muttered, fight to the death. For dignity. The manager peeked out from behind the counter. Seeing Tang-san coming over, he quickly put on a smiling face, young man, you are really amazing. Even young Master Dai was willing to give you the room. Luckily, you weren't hurt, or we wouldn't know how to explain. Tang-san looked at the messy lobby and smiled wryly, manager, how much will it cost to repair this place? The manager quickly shook his head, and no, it has nothing to do with you. Young Master Dai already said these will be on his tab. He's a VIP customer here, so we can just charge his account. I'm really sorry for the delay and the danger it almost caused you. I've decided to waive the rent for 3 days. If you stay within these 3 days, you won't need to pay." As he spoke, he handed a golden key to Tang San with a fawning smile. Tang San was taken aback. He didn't mind the hotel's losses, as Dai Mubai was clearly wealthy, but he felt awkward about the free stay, considering he also had a part in damaging the lobby. How can we accept this? We should pay the full price." The manager quickly shook his head. "In no way, it's the least we can do for the trouble caused. If you could patronize our hotel more in the future, it would be the biggest help to us. Your room is on the top floor, labeled Red Ocean." Tang San had no choice but to nod. Thank you then." After the ordeal, Tang San felt a bit exhausted. He turned and led Xiao Wu upstairs. Having traveled to Suatua City and fought Dai Mubai, the mental stress and the depletion of his inner power left him needing rest. After all, his blue silvergrass being destroyed several times by Dai Mubai had consumed a lot of his inner strength. Seeing the two go upstairs, the manager finally breathed a sigh of relief and murmured, It's finally resolved." He turned to the innocent-looking receptionist beside him and sighed, It's my fault, I forgot to tell you. Other rooms are fine, but the Red Ocean room cannot be given to others casually. It's long-term reserved by young Master Dai." The receptionist said, Manager, the rent for Red Ocean is 10 gold soul coins per day. You just let those 2 kids stay for free? Nowadays, young people are so open, only 12 or 13 years old, and already. Stop talking nonsense and be careful not to invite trouble." The manager said angrily, Do you understand how noble soul masters are? Didn't you see those 2 kids already have 2 soul rings each? At such a young age, they are already grandmasters. Their future is limitless. They might be descendants of some powerful family, not someone we can afford to offend. The decoration of the Rose Hotel easily evoked a favorable impression. The simple and comfortable color combinations, along with the faint scent of roses permeating the hotel, created a soothing atmosphere for body and mind. On the innermost top floor, Tang San found the doorplate for the Red Ocean room. There were only a few rooms on the top floor. The doorplates in front displayed names like Blue Enchantress, Pink Tenderness, Yellow Sincerity, White Purity, Green Farewell, and so on. Only at the very end was the Red Ocean room. Later, he learned that the names on the doorplates represented various colors of roses. The door's color matched its name. The large red door was adorned with beautiful dark red crystal rose decorations. Beside the red crystal rose, there was a vertical plaque with small characters that read, Red Ocean, Ocean of Love. Even Tang San, who was usually slow to catch on, felt something odd at this moment. He turned to Xiao Wu and found her looking at him. Feeling somewhat embarrassed, he said, Is this hotel specifically for couples dates? Xiao Wu blinked her big eyes, snatched the key from Tang San's hand, and said, Who cares, as long as there's a place to stay. With that, she opened the door and walked in. Tang San followed Xiao Wu into the room, but unexpectedly, she suddenly stopped in front of him. His body bumped into her soft figure, halted by the tender elasticity. Why did you stop? Tang San quickly stepped back half a step, creating some distance between himself and Xiao Wu. As he asked this question, he already found the answer. Even though he had some mental preparation, Tang San still felt deeply shocked when he saw everything in the room for the first time. The room was spacious, with the living room alone covering an area of over 50 square meters. All the furniture in the hall was silver, carved with exquisite patterns. On the crimson carpet, there were raised red rose patterns. What surprised them the most was the huge red heart made of roses in the center of the hall. The entire heart had an area of nearly 2 square meters, which would require at least 1,000 roses to complete. Hanging above it was a delicate ribbon with a line of words written on it, Ye 1001, you are my only one. Besides the 1001 roses, There were elegant vases placed everywhere in the room, each filled with fiery red roses. The rich fragrance of roses permeated every corner of the room, intoxicatingly charming. Tang San sighed, It seems I guessed right. No wonder Dai Mubai brought girls here. Xiao Wu, if you don't like this scent, I'll ask the staff to remove these flowers. Xiao Wu, who had snapped out of her shock by now, turned to Tang San with a look of enchantment in her eyes. A brother, you're so silly. What girl doesn't like roses? If you're so clueless, how will you find a wife in the future? Tang San rubbed his nose. I'm only 12 years old. It's too early to talk about these things now. Xiao Wu walked forward, picked up a rose, and sniffed it. The room is beautifully decorated. I find myself starting to like it here. Brother, can we come here often in the future? Tang San frowned. What's so good about it? We're siblings. What's the point of coming to a place like this? All right, we're tired from the journey. Let's rest for a while. Watching Tang San walk towards the bedroom, Xiao Wu stuck her tongue out playfully behind him, but still followed him inside. Upon entering the bedroom, both of them were once again shocked. As expected, there was only one bed in the room, but this bed, which occupied almost half of the room's area, was heart-shaped. Pale pink curtains hung from the ceiling, covering the space above the heart-shaped bed, giving it a dreamlike beauty. With rose-patterned bedding and pillows, everything in the room exuded a strong sense of romance, making one's heart race. Tang San turned to Xiao Wu and said, I realize now, it was a mistake to listen to you. You rest here, I'll go to the sofa outside. Xiao Wu didn't stop Tang San. With a cheer, she leaped onto the elastic heart-shaped bed, bouncing around excitedly on top of it. Watching her, Tang San couldn't help but smile. After all, she was still a little girl. Closing the bedroom door behind him, Tang San sat cross-legged on the sofa outside and began to meditate. Over the past few years, Tang San had developed good habits despite living a monotonous life. Not only had his strength improved, but his mind had also become more stable. Although he was only 12 years old, he already showed some maturity in his demeanor. Of course, according to Xiao Wu, he was prematurely aged. The pure Xian Tiangong inner energy flowed slowly within him as Tang San began to replay the details of his battle with Dai Mubai. Repeating the scenes of the battle, he sorted out the gains and losses, a quality that a soul master must possess as taught by his master. Usually, he only sparred with Xiao Wu, but this time, he had faced a stronger opponent. Although the process of the fight wasn't long, it still had many benefits for Tang San's combat experience. With various martial spirits being so diverse, it was crucial to spar with soul masters who possessed different martial spirits. His memory gradually came to the scene where Dai Mubai used the White Tiger Vajra transformation. Tang San speculated silently about the extent of the attack boost from the White Tiger Vajra transformation. However, he was more concerned about the defense boost it provided. The golden light emanating from Dai Mubai's body should be similar to a protective aura. Among his hidden weapons were several specifically designed to break through such a protective aura, but he wasn't sure if they would be effective against Dai Mubai. Blue silver grass wasn't Tang San's greatest reliance, it was his hidden weapons. Over the past few years, with the improvement of his inner energy, his proficiency with hidden weapons had also increased significantly. Among his 100 hidden weapons, there were many that he could use now. However, he never dared to forget the teachings in the Xian Tian record. He would only use them in times of crisis. This was his secret, known only partially even to Xiao Wu. Tang San's cultivation this time lasted for a long time. Midway, he only went out to have a quick dinner with Xiao Wu. The reason for the long cultivation was twofold. Firstly, his Xian Tiangong had reached a level equivalent to the late stage of rank 29 spirit power, close to the threshold of rank 30. Therefore, he worked extra hard in his cultivation to break through to rank 30 as soon as possible to search for his third soul ring. The other reason was closely related to his fight with Dai Mubai. Dai Mubai reminded Tang San that no matter how good his skills were, he needed strength as a backup. In their battle, before either of them used their martial souls, Tang San gained a slight advantage with his crane control and mysterious jade hand techniques. However, after Dai Mubai used his martial soul, the White Tiger Vajra transformation, Tang San found it difficult to maintain his advantage. This demonstrated the gap in their strengths. After carefully analyzing Dai Mubai's strength, Tang San realized that the best way to fundamentally defeat him was to quickly increase his spirit power. He needed to bring his spirit power close to Dai Mubai's and ideally acquire the third soul ring skill to compete with him. Even with hidden weapons, the support of higher-level Xian Tiangong would greatly enhance their power. "A little San, brother, come out and play with me, okay? You must be bored staying in the room all the time," Xiao Wu complained while Tang San was having breakfast one morning. Tang San smiled. "I'm different from you. You have extraordinary talent. Your strength keeps improving even without much cultivation. But I'm a slow learner. You've seen Dai Mubai's strength. He's also a student from Shrek Academy. If there's one person with such strength, there might be a second or a third. Shrek Academy is different from our old Nuading Academy. It won't be under your control anymore. If I don't improve my strength as much as possible, how can I fulfill my promise to protect you in the future?" Xiao Wu pouted discontentedly and didn't speak, but she held Tang San's arm and stared at him with a look of resentment. It seemed like she wouldn't let go unless he agreed to go out with her. Tang San had no choice but to nod helplessly, saying, "All right, since we're only going to Shrek Academy to register tomorrow. I'll accompany you for a stroll later, but we must return by noon, and you can't disturb my cultivation in the afternoon." "Okay." Xiao Wu's crisp voice was full of joy, and the resentment in her eyes disappeared as if by magic. Her acting skills had reached a masterful level. The service at the Rose Hotel was excellent. When Tang San and Xiao Wu went out, they happened to see a cart of fresh roses being brought in by the staff. Upon inquiry, they found out that the red roses in the Red Ocean Room were replaced daily. Even if roses weren't expensive, in a certain quantity, they still cost quite a bit. Tang San tentatively asked about the room rate and realized how wise he was to agree to the manager's offer of free accommodation for a few days. After leaving the Rose Hotel, Tang San asked Xiao Wu, "Where do you want to go?" Xiao Wu made an indifferent expression and said, "Let's just wander around, anywhere is fine. As long as we're not stuck in the room." Back in Nuading, she was always surrounded by a large group of followers, like a little tyrant. Although the former leader, Xia Qinyu, had graduated and gone to the Intermediate Soul Master Academy, his family still held considerable power in Nuading City. They genuinely admired Xiao Wu and took care of her to some extent. Therefore, Xiao Wu's life in Nuading was quite comfortable. Accustomed to a lively environment, she was naturally a bit uncomfortable with only Tang San by her side now. The two walked slowly towards the city. Sato City truly lived up to its status as a main city. Even though it was still morning, it already displayed a bustling scene. The pace of life in the city was obviously much faster than in the relaxed Nuading City, with most passers-by looking rushed. There were various shops lining the streets. After Xiao Wu dragged Tang San to a few clothing stores, he already felt dizzy. Fortunately, Xiao Wu fully utilized the art of window shopping, looking but not buying, so their shared wallet didn't suffer. The prices in Sato City were at least 30% higher than in Nuading City, especially for goods, but the quality was also slightly better. Of course, this was because Nuading City was a border city. It couldn't compare to Sato City, let alone inland small cities. Little San, look over there." Xiao Wu suddenly exclaimed in surprise. Outside, she usually called Tang San Ye Little San, and it was only when they were alone that she called him Je brother. This was their little secret. Tang San didn't mind, letting her be. What? Another clothing store? Miss, shouldn't we find a place to have lunch and then head back?" Tang San pointed to the sun, which was nearing its zenith. Xiao Wu held his hand and bounced excitedly. Look, just look. That seems to be related to soul masters. Only then did Tang San follow her pointing direction and see a shop not far away. It wasn't very big, but the sign hanging above the shop was different from the others. Carved on the sign was a circular emblem with several special symbols. Ordinary people might not understand the meaning of these symbols, but Tang San and Xiao Wu did. That was because those symbols were the same as the ones on the token of the spirit hall. They consisted of a sword, a hammer, and a blue electric tyrant dragon. The combination of these three symbols was exactly the same as the token of the master of the spirit hall. Tang San wondered why they appeared on the sign of a shop. Let's go take a look, Tang San said as he led Xiao Wu towards the shop. The shop's door was open, and it looked somewhat dim inside. As they entered, a special energy fluctuation immediately caught their attention. This energy fluctuation was quite similar to that in the spirit hall, albeit weaker. With the guidance of the Grandmaster, Tang San knew that this was due to the presence of soul tools. Soul tools emitted soul power fluctuations, and if not bound to someone's soul power, they would emit soul power outward. Most soul tools didn't have offensive capabilities, they could only provide simple assistance. Despite this, soul tools were extremely rare. All inherited soul tools could be considered antiques because the methods of their production had been lost. There was only one person in the shop, and there was no counter. Some items were hung on the walls, all looking quite old and seemingly not valuable. The only person sat on a wooden recliner, eyes closed as he swayed with the chair's motion. He looked to be around 50 years old, and though not young, he had a robust physique. The chair creaked under his weight as it swayed. His face was quite distinctive, with a protruding chin, wide cheekbones, a flat face, and a slightly hooked nose. If one had to describe it, his face resembled a shoe sole. Even though his eyes were closed, he seemed somewhat cunning. He wore a pair of black-framed crystal glasses, with frames so stiff that they looked odd. Tang San and Xiao Wu's entrance didn't wake him up. He continued swaying on the recliner with rhythmic breathing. Curiously looking around, Xiao Wu asked, "Little San, are these all soul tools?" Tang San's gaze shifted from the middle-aged man to the items hanging on the walls. "Truthfully," he said, "I'm not sure. Unless we test each one with soul power, it's impossible to tell just by looking." As he spoke, he walked to the wall and his gaze fell on a crystal about the size of a human head. His gaze froze. The crystal didn't look remarkable. It was transparent with large yellow impurities inside. It hung closest to the door. Yet, despite its appearance, it caused Tang San's heartbeat to accelerate, and his eyes gleamed. He never expected to see such a crystal in such a shop, in such a position. Xiao Wu noticed Tang San's change. "Little San, what do you want with this useless crystal? Finding something worse than this inside the crystal is probably impossible. It's dull, not transparent, and lacks color. Amethyst is the most precious. Are you really planning to buy this?" To Xiao Wu's surprise, Tang San nodded affirmatively. "I want to buy this crystal. I just don't know how much it costs." "Not expensive, 100 gold soul coins," a lazy, slightly hoarse voice chimed in. It seemed the speaker had a bit of a lisp, making his words somewhat unclear. Luckily, there were only Tang San and Xiao Wu in the shop, and it was quiet enough to understand him clearly. Tang San didn't say anything, but Xiao Wu couldn't hold back. "100 gold soul coins for this worthless crystal? You might as well rob people." The middle-aged man on the recliner opened his eyes, but he didn't leave his seat. "100 gold soul coins is the cheapest price here. Pay up if you're buying, if not, please leave." After saying that, he closed his eyes again. Xiao Wu was furious and was about to argue, but Tang San held her back. "All right, I'll buy it." In recent years, Tang San had accumulated some savings. He had minimal expenses, and most of his income was saved up. Especially after reaching the level of a Soul Grandmaster, the monthly subsidy he received from the Spirit Hall had increased to 10 gold soul coins. Now, combined with Xiao Wu's assets, they had over 700 gold soul coins. "A little San, are you sure you're okay?" Xiao Wu raised her hand to feel Tang San's forehead to check for a fever. Tang San signaled to Xiao Wu and shook his head slightly, then lightly touched the moonlit bridge on his waist, and a bag containing 100 gold soul coins appeared in his hand. He turned and handed it to the middle-aged man. The middle-aged man didn't open his eyes. "Your money isn't enough." "This is 100 gold soul coins," Tang San said. The middle-aged man's voice was muffled. "But my crystal is worth 200 gold soul coins." This time, Xiao Wu couldn't hold back. "This is fraud. You said 100 earlier, now it's 200. No wonder you have no business. Little San, let's go. We won't buy it." Tang San shook his head at Xiao Wu and looked at the middle-aged man. "Are you sure you won't change it anymore?" Perhaps this crystal was useless to others, but to him, it was more important than any treasure. Even if it cost 500 gold soul coins, as long as he had it, he would buy it. The middle-aged man lazily said, "All right, 500 gold soul coins, no more changes. Pay up or leave." From 100 to 200, then from 200 to 500, this time even Tang San's patience was wearing thin. He put away the money bag and said to Xiao Wu, "Let's go." Xiao Wu glared fiercely at the middle-aged man. "We should have left earlier. Dealing with such a cunning person is an insult to our intelligence."